Darryl's been around the UK for a very long time.
When I first met Darryl, I was still a player at the time as well, and Darryl had just come over into the country. He was a professional player, and we hit it off straight away, and he, just seeing him as a dynamic player and as a dynamic individual, you could see a lot of things there.
He's a very, very competitive guy. At the end of the day, it's all about winning.
Darryl Reshaw from London Docklands. Look at this. That's an 11. No doubt about it.
He had a lot of charisma, and he was effervescent. So when you saw him play on the court, it spewed out to the fans, and it went to his teammates, and it went around him. So he had a lot of energy and a lot of aura.
The whole presence that he has was great. He draws you to him because he has such a passion for the game.
He has that ability to put everyone at ease, and he relates to so many people.
Darryl's a networker, and you ever go to one of his parties, you know why. He's got everybody there, and everyone's talking to everybody, and he's bringing people together.
Many, many times he was looking at different angles of what he would do after he was playing. He was well educated. He always, was conscientious about that side, and you could see that there was always going to be a situation where he wanted to do something on a business angle, and I know that he started incorporating that at the same time as playing.
I was actually in London in between basketball contracts. I think I just came back from Israel, and so I answered an advertisement in the Evening Standard in London, which is one of the major newspapers. It was like advertising executive, 800 pounds per week. So I answered the ad, and they told me I didn't have any advertising experience, but I told them I was a good salesperson, so they gave me the opportunity.
I first met Darryl about 12 years ago. He joined me after a professional basketball career, I think, spanning a number of pretty successful teams across Europe. And we had made it a process to recruit successful athletes because they had the right attitude and the right levels of determination really to survive in what is actually a very tough industry.
I learned a lot about international sales and marketing, just dealing on a daily basis with a variety of advertising professionals, like the VP of marketing, the marketing communications managers, VP of international marketing.
Darryl quite quickly distinguished himself. Having determination and persistence is one thing, but you really have to have an acumen in being able to understand any market that you go into. And the markets that Darryl was actually operating in were quite diverse from obviously the sports background that he'd come into. We'd thrown him into automotive industries, we threw him into European governmental markets, we threw him into developing world infrastructure type of industries, all industries which he knew nothing about.
And through this experience, I learned a lot about marketing, advertising, and sales.
In a very short period of time, in 6 months, he distinguished himself quite quickly. He rose quite fast, and within a year was pretty much at the top in terms of being the most successful salesperson in that company.
And one day I decided I wanted to transfer those skills into the sports business sector, dealing with companies who wanted to expand globally.
And then you could see the transition that Darryl made from being a player and slowly getting into the business projects.
Doesn't get there. Big rebound by Reshaw. Hamilton. Reshaw for the long two is good.
How a player, goes on to another career, or what does he do after he's playing? I think that's such an important factor.
For Darryl, I think moving into the sports marketing business was very easy. He's got great contacts with coaches and other sporting organizations around the world.
And it just was an interesting transition. My international experience playing in Europe for over 10 years and my business experience. And I brought all these experiences together and created TASM.
When you look at it, I think Darryl was probably a little bit ahead of the curve when he started looking at the globalisation issue. I don't think you can find too many organisations that would have the experience that Darryl's actually had in terms of working the US side so effectively and the European marketplace.
So TASM was created off of those principles, using the international sales and marketing skills, but in the sports business sector.